I related? That's an interesting question. It's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. What was the question again?
I am married to Gerald's first cousin, Gary Etheridge. We're married 32 years, so I am Gerald's cousin.
How was I related to Gwen and Gerald?
Oh, what make you say that?
That's an excellent question. Can you put that in a sentence?
My grandmother is Gerald's father's sister. So I'm his cousin.
Oh Lord, we gonna get into the ancestry, the line. And now we gotta name the kind of cousins: first cousin, second cousin, twice removed.
Wait, what level cousin is Gerald? Gerald to me.
They don't even say once removed. They just say second cousin, because you're supposed to have cousin, then first cousin. So they started saying first cousin once removed because everybody calls the cousin the first cousin. So I guess I could just say cousins.
First cousin. I'm first cousin. Gerald is. That is a big deal.
Granny's brother's children. Granny's my grandmother. He's my parents' first cousin, so he's my second. And Gwen is his love.
Newlywed a year ago, but you're still checking each other out.
I am married to Stephen. The other brother, the other son.
Jeffrey!
Cousin to Gerald and Gwen. So, but I've been here so long, I feel like I'm part of the family. I am part of the family.
Right, absolutely.
How am I related? I'm a freeloader. I'm just a black man trying to get some free food. Friends since childhood friend and family. Since 1959. 60. Yeah. 60. 1960. 1960.
You imagine?
19. No, this is 19.
Wow.
To tell the story, we have to know that she is my god's sister because he is my godfather. Oh, and him and her father have known each other since 3rd, 2nd, or 1st grade, depending on who's telling the story. And we've known each other forever. Everybody knew me before I knew me. That's how I know. That's deep. That's deep.
How am I related to Gwen and Gerald? That is such an interesting question. With Gwen, I find that in many ways.
So I'm here also to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody. This is wonderful. It's good to see you all. This is a huge circle that is ever expanding. Right. Let's see. Gerald's father and my mother, my brother and sister, only 2. And we are the children of those 2. So we are first cousins. And Gwen is now part of our circle of love. So that's real part of that.
Yes, I understand.
Grandfather had a candy store in my neighborhood that my cousin, who was 13 years older than me, would take me to when I couldn't even walk or talk. That was my first introduction to the Adolf family in 1953. Then when I was 10 years old, I met Gerald at a field day for the Christian Brothers schools had. We kicked those little smart boys behind, and then later on, 3 years later, Gerald and I ended up being freshmen in high school at the same high school. And that's when we reunited from that point on, and I was the best man at their wedding.
And he dropped the ring.
And I dropped the ring.
My husband, Bill Clark, is the first cousin once removed to Beryl, Gerald's mother. Billy's father and Beryl were first cousins. So my husband is first cousin once removed, meaning one layer down from Beryl. So he and Gerald are second cousins.
Gerald's mother is my first cousin.
It wasn't for me.
One child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn. Another child.
Thompson family line. Vince's mom and Beryl, sisters. So Vincent and Gerald are cousins. So we're all cousins.
We also grew up on the same block, that's all. She lives in my building and we grew up in the same development as kids. But we're not related, no. They blamed a lot on my father, not related, no.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's family. It's family affair. It's family. It's family affair.
I think I'm adopted. You guys adopted? I think the correct answer is I'm not sure.
My name is Curtis Johnson, and I went to high school with Gerald. Okay, and also I was in a leadership project, artificial leadership project with Gerald. When I finished my undergraduate at UConn, and I needed a place to stay, I went and called on Gerald, who was still at MIT, and I lived with Gerald and his friend Phil Hampton in Boston for 3 years when I was in law school in Boston. So at that time, and most of the folks don't know, Gerald had recreated an alter ego for himself, and he was a disc jockey, okay, for MIT's late night radio show called The Ghetto. And Gerald was simply known as Ace. How cool was that? Okay. So for my 3 years in law school, I lived with Gerald, who was Ace, a radio personality, and his roommate, Phil Hampton, who must have been the grand poobah of the campus. So leave it to say, I'm lucky I got through law school with all the activity that was going through in our apartment. So that's how I've known Gerald for 47 years from Cardinal Spellman High School.
I met Gerald in Boston before I met Curtis. So I knew Gerald for years, and then I met Curtis and found out that we were all connected. And then, of course, I met Gwen when they got married.
That goes to the whole story of Gerald creating this alter ego. Every lady in Boston knew Gerald from the ghetto, Ace from the ghetto. So no wonder that once I later met my wife, who went to school in Boston, she already had known about this Ace.
And who are you?
I was adopted from Mrs. Etheridge. Supposed to be her 7 sons.
I'm not related to Gwen and Gerald. Gerald's my brother from the same mother, not from another mother, like brothers like to say. That's my brother from the same mother and father.
My wife went to Harvard, so she met Gerald, and then we met Gwen later because Carla and Gerald have a mutual friend, Sharon Hall, who lives in Atlanta. So that's how we're connected.
So I'm kind of adjacent family. Gwen and my wife Robin, Pete Shirt over there, grew up together in North Carolina. So their parents were very close. and it's one of those Southern familial things where, the friends are family. So we live in New York, they live in New York, and they just couldn't be without each other. So, yeah.
We are all friends. We're chosen family.
Yes, we are exactly.
From other.
Yeah,
Kids are all kind of the same age and growing up together, so.
I am Thompson, so Gerald is my cousin. His mother is the sister of my grandmother, Hazel Morton, who's a Thompson as well. So Beryl Thompson and Hazel Thompson are both sisters, related, and Gerald is Beryl's son, and I am Hazel's grandson. That's it.
Seniors. Hazel, which is Beryl's grandmother, and Beryl are sisters. So, Hazel's son.
So we're their neighbors about 200 yards that way. And so they've always been gracious and allowed us to their barbecue, which we've always enjoyed coming. So we're here.
I go to church with Gwen and Gerald, St. Charles Bar.
I am thankful for seeing all the family and seeing our friends that have come out to join us today and be a part of this crazy celebration. It's crazy, but it's fun. So thank you for coming. And I will now introduce my favorite nephew.
Cousins. And I also feel that in Gwen, there is also a first. It's a first in sort of spirituality. There's a bond there that could just never be broken. It's inseparable. It's like gold or diamonds. You could never break it apart. And that's what this is all about. It's family coming together in a bond that could never be broken apart.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers came out of the country and didn't take care of the brothers. They made us slaves. We were picking cotton and being in the big house for the man, okay? For the man. And I don't want to say anymore because I'm angry and I'm pissed.
He's also a first cousin. He's also a first cousin. He's the grandson of Eldika and Gerald Adolph.
Eldika Brumont.
Eldika Brumont.
And Gerald Adolph.